Well, the chapter 7 of Tides of War, I think it's chapter 7, was the last one, as I stated in the video's name. The campaign is left unfinished by its creator, so back to the other one, which I paused some time ago. So, the rescue and escape proved to be a great success. With Raven rescued, the exhausted company squad was ready to return back to deal. But someone was missing. Such is description of Interlude, the road ahead. And this is gonna be a bunch of interludes. And I think this is, whatever. It was a great victory for the company. It exceeded Elmo's wildest hopes. Our insurgents turned out perfectly in getting Raven back. Shifter gave us the assistance when we had our backs against the wall. He was happy as a child with the spells he unleashed. Yet he disappeared as utterly as if he had never existed. And we, so exhausted in our escape, were crawling around like lizards, assembled in ore. Elmo took roll. All accounted for but one. Where is Raven? Maybe he's done with his business. Zoe was the last guy on his hit list. Hate to see him go. He played a mean game of Tonk. Wonder what the limper is thinking right now. Probably wondering why one of his scams got trashed so bad. And Shifter is gone. I had begun to sense a disturbing pattern. I wanted to know it was just my imagination. I brought it up while we were all getting ready to return to deal. You know, the only people who saw Shifter were on our side. The others simply got roasted without knowing what hit them. The Rebel and Limper's forces saw a lot of us, especially of you, Elmo, and me, and Raven. I have a feeling Shifter's finesse didn't have much to do with getting Zolt or helping us. I think we were put on the spot where the Limper is concerned. Very craftily. Elmo likes to come across as a big, dumb country boy turned soldier, but he's sharp. He not only saw what I meant, he immediately connected it with the broader picture of politicking among the Taken. We've got to get the hell away from here before the Limper figures out what's going on. And I don't mean just away from ore. I mean Forsberg. Soulcatcher has put us on the board as his frontline pawns. We're liable to get caught between a rock and a hard place. Alright. One Eye, lead the way out of here. Rest of you, follow him. Wait, Croaker. Get over here. Been trying to decide who ought to break the news to Darling. Croaker, you just volunteered. You've got the right touch. I think that's about the Darling's father who was killed during the rescue of Raven, but I'm not sure. So I had me something to keep my mind occupied during the ride. Damn that Elmo! Fate is a fickle bitch. The great brouhaha in ore was not the end of it. Ripples spread. Consequences piled up. Fate showed its bad finger in. Raker launched a major offensive while the Limper was trying to figure out what happened back at ore. He did so unaware that his enemy was absent from the field, but the effect was the same. The Limper's army collapsed. Our victory went for naught. Rebel bands whooped through ore, hunting the lady's agents. We, thanks to Soulcatcher's foresight, were moving south when the collapse came, so we avoided becoming involved. We went into garrison at Elm, credited with several dramatic victories. The limper fled into the Salien with the remnants of his force, branded as an incompetent. He knew who had done him in, but there wasn't anything he could do. His relationship with the lady was too precarious. He dared do nothing but remain her faithful lapdog. He would have to come up with some outstanding victories before he thought about settling with us or Soulcatcher. I did not feel that comforted. The worm has a way of turning, given time. Did the captain get upset about what had happened? Was he displeased because so many of his men had gone off on their own, exceeding or stretching his instructions? Let's just say the extra duty assignments were enough to break the back of an ox. Let's say the Madonnas of the Night in Elm were severely disappointed in the Black Company. I do not want to think about it. The man is a diabolic genius. The platoons were on review. The wagons were loaded and ready to roll. The captain and lieutenant were conferring with their sergeants. One-Eye and Goblin were playing some sort of game with little shadow creatures making war. Many were watching and betting this way or that depending on shifts of fortune. Someone is coming. Nobody paid any attention. Messengers came and went all day. The gate swung inward, and Darling began clapping her hands. She ran toward the gateway. Through it, looking as rough as the day we had met him, came in our Raven. He gave Darling a big hug and gave her a pat on the head. He then reported to the captain. I heard him say that all his debts were paid and that he no longer had any interests outside the company. The captain stared at him a long time, then nodded and told him to take his place in ranks. He had used us and while doing so had found himself a new home. He was welcome to the family. We later marched out, bound for a new garrison in the Salien. Leaving Deal, the Black Company went to Maastricht, a fort located in the Salien. The Salien's weather made rebels back at Forsberg look like child's play. The journey there proved to be brutal. With the Black Company situated in Maastricht, the captain had been looking for ways in eliminating the rebel circle member and General Raker. Then, a month later, an opportunity came. The captain ordered Elmo to command a squad to go into the Salien to strike at Raker himself by surprise. Nothing has been heard of Elmo or his men since. Such is description of another interlude, the Salien. Maastricht Fortress, pearl of the Salien defenses, frozen in winter, swampy in spring, an oven in summer. White Rose prophets and rebel main forces were the least of our troubles. The salient is a long arrowhead of flatland pointing south, between mountain ranges. Maastricht lies at its point. It funnels weather and enemies down onto the stronghold. Our assignment is to hold this anchor of the lady's northern defenses. Why the Black Company? We are the best. The rebel infection began seeping through the salient soon after the fall of Forsberg. The limper tried to stop it and failed. The lady set us to clean up the limper's mess. Her only other option was to abandon another province. Elmo was coming in. I pitied Elmo and his gang. They were rebel hunting. The rules call for casualness, for pretense that your guts are not churning with dread. Instead, men peeped from hidden places, wondering about brothers who had gone a-hunting. Anybody lost? Anyone badly hurt? You know them better than kin. You had fought side by side for years. Not all of them were friends, but they were family. The only family you had. We started to wonder. Hard traveling. How did it go? Black Company 23. Rebel Zip. No work for you, Croaker. Except Jojo has a little frostbite. You get Raker? Raker's dire prophecies, skilled witchcraft, and battlefield cunning had made a fool of the limper. The salient had been ready to collapse before the lady ordered us to take over. The move had sent shockwaves throughout the Empire. A mercenary captain had been assigned forces and powers usually reserved for one of the 10. Sally and Winter being what was, only a shot at Raker himself made the captain field this patrol. Elmo bared his face and grinned. He was not talking. He would just have to tell it again for the captain. I considered silent. No smile on his long, dreary face. He responded with a slight jerk of his head. So, another victory that amounted to failure. Raker had escaped again. Maybe he would send us scampering after the limper, squeaking mice who had grown too bold and challenged the cat. Maastricht's main hall is only slightly less draughty than its quarters. I treated Jojo. The others attacked their meals. Feast complete. Elmo, Silent, One-Eye, and Knuckles convened around a small table. Cards materialized. One-Eye scowled my way. Going to stand there with your thumb in your butt, Croaker? We need a mark. One-Eye is at least 100 years old. The annals mention the wizened little black man's volcanic tempers throughout the last century. There is no telling when he joined. 70 years' worth of annals were lost when the company's positions were overrun at the Battle of Arbon. One-Eye refuses to eliminate the missing years. He says he does not believe in history. Croaker, you going to squat? Nope. Sooner or later, Elmo is going to talk. I tapped my pen against my teeth. One-Eye was in rare form. Smoke poured out of his ears. A screaming bat popped out of his mouth. He seems annoyed. The others grinned. Baiting One-Eye is a favorite pastime. One-Eye hates field work, and hates missing out even more. Elmo's grins and Silent's benevolent glances convinced him he had missed something good. Raven took the seat they had offered me. No one objected. Even One-Eye never objects to anything Raven decides to do. Raven. Colder than our weather since, or a dead soul now, maybe. He can make a man shudder with a glance. He exudes a stench of the grave, and yet Darling loves him. Pale, frail, ethereal, she kept one hand on his shoulder while he ordered his cards. She smiled for him. Raven is an asset in any game including One Eye. One Eye cheats, but never when Raven is playing. She stands in the tower gazing northward. Her delicate hands are clasped before her. A breeze steals softly through her window. It stirs the midnight silk of her hair. Their diamonds sparkle on the gentle curve of her cheek. Woohoo! Wow! Offer! Offer! May a sow litter in your bedroll, Willie. Those characters got a howl out of my fantasies about the lady. The sketches are a game I play with myself. Hell, for all they know, my inventions might be on the mark. Only the 10 who were taken ever see the lady. Who knows if she's ugly, beautiful, or what? Their diamonds sparkling, eh? I like that. Figure she's spinning for you, Croaker. Knock it off. I don't make fun of your games. The lieutenant entered, seated himself, regarded us with a black scowl. Lately his mission in life has been to disapprove. His advent meant the captain was on his way. Elmo folded his hand and composed himself. The captain is not one of our more colorful characters. Too quiet, too serious. Let's hear it, Sergeant. Sergeant? Silence spotted a picket line south of the farm, Captain. We circled north, attacked after sunset. They tried to scatter. Silent distracted Raker while we handled the others. 30 men. We got 23. We yelled a lot about not letting our spy get hurt. You returned directly to the fortress? Yes, sir. After burning the farmhouse and outbuildings, Raker concealed his trail well. Then, pray, why are you and Silent grinning like a pair of prize fools? Proud they came home empty-handed. But we didn't. Silent dug inside his filthy shirt, produced a small leather bag that always hangs on a thong around his neck. His trick bag. It is filled with noxious oddments like putrefied bat's ears or elixir of nightmare. This time he produced a folded piece of paper. He cast dramatic glances at One Eye and Goblin, opened the packet fold by fold. Even the captain gained a major interest. Behold! Ain't nothing but hair. Is it really his? Really his? Abso-damn-lutely. Right off the top of his bean. We had that old man by the balls and he knew it. He was healing and throwing it out of there so fast he smacked his nugget on a doorframe. Saw it myself, and so did Silent. Left these on the beam. Gents, we've got him. He's as good as hanging on a meat hook right now. The big one. What do you think of that, you sorry little spook? Goblin is a poof. There is no truth to that canon. Goblin is thoroughly heterosexual. One Eye was trying to start something. It was you that corrupted the lad, Sutter. Gentlemen. One Eye. Are they enough? One hair, sir, or one nail paring is enough, sir. We have him. We can't handle this ourselves. We'll have to bring in one of the taken. One of the taken. Naturally. Our resources are our most precious resource. They must be protected, but... Cole stole in and froze us into statues. One of the lady's shadow disciples. One of those Dark Lords here? No. Not the limper, he's got a hard-on for us. Shifter gives me the creeps. Nightcrawler is worse. How the hell do you know? You never seen him. We can handle it, Captain. And Raker's cousins would be on you like flies on a horse apple. Soulcatcher. He's our patron. More or less. Contact him, One Eye. Be ready to move when he gets here. It should have been Silent's game, really. The captain gave it to One Eye because he cannot come to grips with Silent's refusal to talk. That scares him for some reason. Silent did not protest. One Eye had contacted Soulcatcher. He was coming. Goblin said the old spook howled with glee. He smelled a chance to raise his stock and scuttled out of the limper. The tense squabble and backbite worse than spoiled children. What are you going to do with that block? A little sculpture, Croaker. I've taken up a new hobby. So don't tell me. See if I care. Take that attitude if you want. I was going to ask if you could go after Raker with us, so you could put it in the annals, right? With a word about One Eye's a genius? Credit where credit is due, Croaker. Then Silent is due a chapter, isn't he? Don't ask me, Croaker. Later on, I ventured into another Tonk match. They had 3 players at the time, one of whom was Raven. Tonk is more interesting with 4 or 5. I won 3 hands straight. Don't you have anything to do? A war to cut off or something? You asked him to play. You like flies, Odo? Flies? I'm going to turn you into a frog if you don't shut your mouth. You couldn't turn a tadpole into a frog. Haha, you asked for it, One Eye. When is Soulcatcher going to show? When he gets here. I nodded. There is no apparent rhyme or reason to the way that they can do things. Regular cheerful Charlies today, aren't we? How much has he lost, Odo? Odo just smirked. Raven won the next 2 hands. One Eye swore off talking. So much for discovering the nature of his project. Probably for the best. An explanation never made could not be overheard by Raker's spies. Elmo ordered that the stone he was working on to be moved in a room inside the fortress. For days, Silent, Goblin, and One Eye took turns working on that stone. I visited the room occasionally. They let me watch and growl when they would not answer questions. The captain too sometimes poked his head in, shrugged, and went back to his quarters. He was juggling strategies for a spring campaign, which would throw all available Imperial might against the rebel. His rooms were impenetrable, so thick were the maps and reports. Soulcatcher came in the deep hours, amidst the blizzard which beggared the one Elmo endured. The wind howled. Soulcatcher made his own entrance through a gate that was frozen shut. We hurried to see him in the main hall. Small, soft curves interrupt the flatness of Soulcatcher's chest. There is a feminine flair to his hips and legs. 3 of the taken are female, but which are which only the lady knows. We call them all he. Their sex won't ever mean a thing to us. Soulcatcher claims to be our friend, our champion. Even so, his presence brought a different chill to the hall. The cold of him has nothing to do with climate. Even One Eye shivers when he is around. And Raven? I do not know. Raven seems incapable of feeling anymore, except where Darling is concerned. Someday that grain stone face is going to break. I hope I am there to see it. So, fine weather for an adventure. Baritone. Strange sounds followed. Laughter. The Taken had made a joke. I don't know what baritone is, so I'll keep doing the low voice. Nobody laughed. Although, hold up. Hold up. Oh wait, never mind. Tell me. We'll start from the beginning, Captain. One of our informants caught wind of a meeting of the rebel captains. One Eye, Goblin, and Silent follow the movements of known rebels. You let them run around loose? They led us to their friends. Of course, one of the Limper's shortcomings. No imagination, he kills them where he finds them along with everyone else in sight. Ahaha, less effective, yes? Elmo? Elmo told his part as he had before, word for word. He passed the tale to One Eye, who sketched a scheme for taking Raker. I did not understand, but Soulcatcher caught it instantly. Two of a kind. Well done, gentlemen. Very well done. Imaginative. This could break them into Salien. We start for Roses when the weather breaks. A party of 8, Captain. Bolder than my wont, I volunteered for the expedition. I wanted to see how Raker could be taken with hair and a block of limestone. The Limper had failed with all his furious power. Okay, Croaker, One Eye and Goblin, you Elmo, and pick 2 more. That's only 7, Captain. Raven makes 8. Ah, Raven. Of course. Of course. Quiet, deadly Raven would be the captain's alter ego. The bond between those men surpasses understanding. Guess it bothers me because Raven scares the hell out of me lately. The storm broke. Soon the Roses Road was open. Soulcatcher fretted. Raker had 2 weeks start. It would take us a week to reach Roses. One Eye's planted tails might lose their efficiency before we arrive. We left before dawn, the limestone block aboard the wagon. The wizards had done little but carve out a modest declivity the size of a large melon. I could not fathom its value. One Eye and Goblin fussed over it like a groom over a new bride. One Eye answered my questions with a big grin. Bastard. A week later. Roses is the queen city of the Salien, a teeming sprawl, a free city, a republic. The lady has not seen fit to revoke its traditional autonomy. The world needs places where men of all stripes and stations can step outside the usual strictures. So, Roses, owning no master, filled with agents and spies and those who will live on the dark side of the law. In that environment, One I claimed, his scheme had to prosper. I found a place. Good. Go on. It's an old public square. A couple alleys and streets around. Poorly lighted at night. No reason for any traffic after dark. Sounds perfect. It is. I also found a spot overlooking the entire square. Let's take a look. I still don't get the point of all this. Clam lips? Let's play games. Tonight? If the old spook says, go. I'm getting frustrated. What's going on? All you clowns do is play cards and watch Raven sharpen his knives. That went on for hours at a time. The movement of whetstone across steel sending chills down my spine. It was an omen. Raven does not do that unless he expects the situation to get nasty. Where did you get the table? Why the hell can't you tell me now? Okay, we made it. What for? To sit our rock on. You're not telling me anything. Patience, Croaker. All in due time. Bastard. Maybe we should move the table more to the right. Alright, push it, boys. You move it. Think you can manling gear your way through this? Damned old cripple's always got an excuse. He's got a point, One Eye. Bah, going to get you someday, chavo. Curse of impotence. How does that sound? I'd put a curse of stupidity on you if I could improve on nature. Now that I think about it, doesn't look right there. Are you nervous? Yeah, maybe you and Raven should move it a little bit more. Damn it, move it more to the left. Let it be. We don't have time for this. We slid the stone close to the table. I stepped back, white sweat from my face. I was soaked. In the middle of winter. That rock radiated heat. The bags. I mean, Soulcatcher does look like a female, but my voice isn't... oh, whatever. The voice sounded like a woman I would not mind meeting. So yeah, Soulcatcher is a woman, but I'm using male voice for it. Whatever. Hey, this is money. Cut the bags, hurry it up. I mean, cut the bags, hurry it up. That's what I should do, right? I still had not read the immortal message they have carved on the rock. I darted in for a look. Let he who would claim this wealth seat the head of the creature Raker within this throne of stone. Ah. Aha! Plain spoken, straightforward, simple. Just our style. Huh. I stepped back, tried to guess the magnitude of Soulcatcher's investment. That's all the gold around the stone, I think. The hair. When I produced the strands, Soulcatcher thumbed them into the walls of the head-sized cavity. He stepped back and, with one eye and goblin, made magic. Treasure, table, and stone began to shed a golden glow. Our arch-foe was a dead man. Half the world would try to collect his bounty. It was too big to resist. His own people would turn on him. I saw one slim chance for him. He could steal the treasure himself. Tough job though. No rebel prophet could out-magic one of the taken. Somebody test it. Excellent. It works. No fool can grab the treasure without Raker's head. This will work well. At first we crowed the hilltop that overlooked the square, willing something to happen. That balled fast. Roses did not discover the doom we had set for Raker till sunrise. Cautious entrepreneurs found 100 ways to go after that money. Crowds came just to see. One enterprising band started tearing up the street to dig under. Police ran them off. Soulcatcher stood watch on the hilltop and never moved. Have to modify the spells. I didn't anticipate this much ingenuity. What's the lady like? I had just finished one of my fantasy sketches. Something that will bite steel. His voice was female and catty. An odd answer. I'm sorry, I cannot do a cat-like voice. I'm not a female. Have to keep them from using tools. So much for an eyewitness report. I should have known better. We mortals are mere objects to the taken. Our curiosities are supreme indifference. I retreated to my secret kingdom and its spectrum of imaginary ladies. Here meaning the lady, the leader of taken. Soulcatcher modified the word sorceries that night. Next morning there were many corpses in the square. Got a customer. Huh? A guy with a head. I wondered how long it would be before this started.
Silence. He's out there.
Who?
Raker, don't give us away.
A sneak visit was in the scenario.
Raker has to find out what he's up against. He can't do that from anywhere else.
Weeks passed. Raker came again and again, apparently content to observe. Soulcatcher told us to let him be, no matter how easy a target he made of himself. Our mentor might be considerate to us, but he has his cruel streak. It seemed he wanted to torment Raker with the uncertainty of his fate. This burg is going bounty crazy. You ought to go to Rose's Moor, Croaker. They're turning Raker into an industry. Look here. He had a double fistful of coins. Some were gold. You're going to be walking tilted to one side. Mate is selling tips on where to find Raker. Bogus tips. You can get rich out there. I didn't know we were in this to get rich. What are you? Some kind of... just an argument about a bet, sir. Just a bet. Really convincing, Chabo. Why not just hang yourself? Shit, Croaker. You should see what One Eye is doing. Selling amulets. Guaranteed to tell if there's a rebel close by. They really work too. Sort of. At least he'll be able to pay his card debts. You guys are supposed to be planting rumors, keeping the pot boiling, not... Shh. We are. Every dive in town. Hell, the rumor mill is berserk out there. Come on, I'll show... No. Your loss. I know a bookmaker taking bets on when Raker will lose his head. You got insight. Scoot out of here before you lose yours. I decided to go to the hilltop to watch goblins scamper across the square below. He would pass our trap without glancing its way.
Let them play their games.
Sir?
My ears are sharper than your friend realizes. It's of no consequence. The underground is paralyzed by dismay.
Sir?
The mortar in that house is rotting. It'll crumble soon. That would not have happened had we taken Raker immediately. They would have made a martyr of him. The loss would have saddened them, but they would have gone on. The Circle would have replaced Raker in time for the spring campaigns.
I stared into the place. Why was Soulcatcher telling me this? And all in one voice. Was it the voice of the real Soulcatcher?
Because you thought I was being cruel for cruelty's sake.
How did you...
No, I didn't read your mind. I know how minds work. I'm the catcher of souls, remember?
Do the Taken get lonely? Do they yearn for simple companionship? Friendship?
Sometimes.
Okay, now she's reading his mind.
Simple elimination was never my plan. I want the hero of Forsberg to discredit himself.
Soulcatcher knew our enemy better than we suspected. Raker was playing his game. Already he had made 2 spectacular vain attempts on our trap. Those failures had ruined his stock with fellow travelers. To hear tell, roses seethed with pro-Empire sentiment.
He will make a fool of himself, then we'll squash him like a noxious beetle.
Don't underestimate him. The limper...
That I want to do. I'm not the limper. He and Raker are 2 of a kind. In the old times, the Dominator would have made him one of us.
What was he like? Get him talking, Croaker. From the Dominator it is only one step to the lady. Soulcatcher's right hand rolled palm upward, opened, slowly made a claw. The gesture rattled me. I imagined that claw ripping at my soul. End of conversation. Next morning we heard from the captain. News, mostly. A few rebel partisans were surrendering their weapons in response to an amnesty offer. Some main forces who had come south with Raker were pulling out. The confusion had reached the Circle. Raker's failure in roses worried them. You know, that thing out there didn't have to be real. Anything would have done the job if the mob couldn't get to it.
Wrong. Raker had to know it was real.
Why is that? Nothing has really happened.
It's happening on the other side, in people's minds. Raker, and by extension the Circle, looks impotent. He should have yielded the salient to another commander.
If I was a big-time general, I probably wouldn't admit to a screw-up either. Croaker. It's true, Elmo. Can you picture any general, ours or theirs, asking somebody to take over for him?
Their faith is dying. An army without faith in itself is beaten more surely than an army defeated in battle. We tighten the screws now, all of you. Tell it in the taverns, whisper it in the streets. Burn him, drive him, push him so hard he doesn't have time to think. I want him so desperate he tries something stupid. It's no longer necessary to kill Raker. His credibility is dead. Now we're destroying the confidence of his movement.
Captain says the Circle ordered Raker out. He wouldn't go. He revolted against his own revolution? He wants to beat this trap. Get some cards out. Goblin and One Eye have been robbing widows and orphans again. Time to clean them out. Raker was on his own, hunted, haunted, a whipped dog running the alleys of the night. He could trust no one. I felt sorry for him. Almost. He was a fool. Only a fool keeps betting against the odds. The odds against Raker were getting longer by the hour. Sounds like a convening of the Brotherhood of Whispers. Raven made only a glance, said nothing. We were playing head-to-head donk. A dull-time killer of the game. Dull-time killer of game. A dozen voices murmured over on the hilltop.
I smell it. You're wrong. It's from the south. End it now. Not yet. It's time. Needs a little longer. Pushing our luck. The game could turn. Wear pride. It's here. The stench of it runs before it like the breath of a jackal.
Wonder if he ever loses an argument with himself. Still Raven said nothing. In my more daring moods, I've been trying to draw him out. Without luck. I was doing better with Soulcatcher. Soulcatcher suddenly made an angry noise rising from deep inside him. What is it? I was tired of roses. I was disgusted with roses. Roses bored and frightened me. It was worth a man's life to go into those streets alone. What is it?
The limper. He's in roses.
That's the Yellow Death Knight from previous. Here? Why?
He smells a big kill. He wants to steal the credit.
You mean muscling on our action?
That's his style.
Wouldn't the lady...
This is roses. She's a long way off, and she doesn't care who gets in.
Politics among the ladies' viceroys. It is a strange world. I do not understand people outside the company. We led a simple life, no thinking required. The captain takes care of that. We just follow orders. For most of us, the Black Company is a hiding place, a refuge from yesterday, a place to become a new man. What do we do?
I'll handle the limper.
Goblin and One Eye then came in. They were both drunk. Shit. Snowing again. Goddamn snow. I thought winter was over. Where the hell is everybody? Out carousing around. Do you believe this, Raven? These two getting drunk together? Hey, where was the old spook? That bastard. One Eye, old buddy. That right? Old spooky bastard. This is the right bastard. Old bastard. What are kind around here, old buddy? Warmer out in the deeper snow. Hope they don't do anything stupid. More stupid, like show off. They'll kill themselves. Tonk. Ten or 50 hands later, one of the reinforcement soldiers that arrived 3 days ago came bursting in. You seen Elmo? No? What happened, Agop? Somebody stabbed Odo. I think it was Raker. I run him off. Stabbed? He dead? No. He's got bad. A lot of blood. Why didn't you bring him? Couldn't carry him. He was drunk too. The attack on his friend sobered him some, but that would not last. Odo is one of the commanding officers you can recruit, by the way. He is, Gwen. You sure it was Raker? Sure. Hey, Croaker, come on. He's gonna die. I'm coming. Wait, I'm going. Let's go, Croaker.